My dad said, "Sign your house over to your brother. He needs it more." I laughed and said, "Let me think about it." The next day, I changed all the locks and put up a no trespassing sign. They're still thinking about why. Look, I'm not going to pretend I grew up in some horrible family situation. My parents weren't abusive or anything like that. They fed me, clothed me, made sure I went to school. All the basics were covered. But here's the thing about basics. They're just that, basic. And when you're the second kid in a family where the first kid can do no wrong, basics are about all you're gonna get. My brother Andrew is 3 years older than me. Golden child doesn't even begin to cover it. This guy could mess up a bowl of cereal, and my parents would find a way to blame the spoon. Meanwhile, I could ace a test and get a "that's nice, honey," while they planned Andrew's next big life event. It was always like that. Always has been. Want some examples? Sure. When I was 12 and Andrew was 15, we both wanted bikes. I saved up birthday money and did extra chores for 3 months. Bought myself a used bike from a neighbor for $40. Andrew mentioned wanting one, and Dad took him to the bike shop the next weekend. Came home with a $500 mountain bike. When I asked why Andrew got a new one, Dad said Andrew needed reliable transportation. I was riding a bike with mismatched tires. High school? I made honor roll every semester. Andrew barely passed most of his classes, but he was popular, so that was what mattered. When he got a C in English, they hired him a tutor. When I got a B in chemistry, my only B, Mom told me I needed to study harder. I'm not bitter about it or anything. Okay, maybe I was when I was younger, but by the time I hit my 20s, I'd pretty much accepted that this was just how things were. Some families have favorites. Mine did. Andrew got the attention, the praise, the financial help whenever he needed it. I got really good at figuring things out on my own. And honestly, that ended up being the better deal. Because while Andrew learned that someone would always bail him out, I learned how to actually solve problems. After high school, I went to community college. Paid for it myself working nights at a shipping warehouse. Not glamorous, but it covered tuition and kept me fed. The warehouse job was brutal. 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., loading and unloading trucks. But it paid $12 an hour, which was enough to cover community college tuition and rent. Andrew went to a 4-year university 2 states over. Full ride from Mom and Dad, new car, spending money, the whole package. When I asked if they could help with my books one semester, just the books, not even tuition, Dad told me it would build character to work for what I wanted. Character. Right. I finished my associate's degree and got a job as an insurance adjuster. Started at the bottom, worked my way up. Lived in a cramped apartment with 2 roommates who never cleaned the bathroom. Drove a car that had more issues than a celebrity magazine. But I was saving. Every month I put away whatever I could. Some months it was $50. Some months it was $300. My goal was clear. I wanted to own a house before I turned 30. Everyone told me it was impossible. Even the financial advisor at my bank looked skeptical when I asked about first-time homebuyer programs. But I did it anyway. Cut every corner I could. Packed lunches instead of buying them. Stayed in on weekends while everyone else went out. Watched my checking account grow slowly, painfully slowly, but it grew. Andrew, meanwhile, bounced around from job to job. He'd work somewhere for 6 months, decide it wasn't his passion, quit, and move back home while he figured out his next move. This happened 4 times in 5 years. Each time, Mom and Dad welcomed him back with open arms. Didn't charge him rent, let him eat their food while he found himself. By 25, I had almost $40,000 saved. Started seriously looking at houses. Everything was either way out of my price range or in neighborhoods where you heard sirens constantly. Then I found it. 3-bedroom ranch, 40 minutes outside the city, needed work but structurally sound. I offered asking price minus $5,000. They countered minus $2,000. I accepted. Put down 20% and suddenly I was a homeowner. I was 27 years old and I owned a house. Nobody helped me. Nobody gave me $1. I'd earned every single piece of it. Mom and Dad came to see it once. Once. They walked through, made some comments about how much work it needed, and left after 20 minutes. Dad mentioned something about how it was pretty far from them. That was it. No congratulations, no, we're proud of you. Just observations about what was wrong with it. But whatever. I didn't buy it for them. I bought it for me. And I loved that house. Every creaky floorboard, every weird angle in the kitchen, every draft that came through the windows in winter. It was mine. I'd earned it. Nobody gave it to me, nobody helped me get it, and nobody could take it away. Or so I thought. Fast forward 3 years. I'm 30, the house is in great shape now, and I've built up some solid equity. The neighborhood's gotten nicer. Couple of families moved in, property values went up, the whole area's developing. My little fixer-upper that I bought for a steal is now worth about 60% more than I paid for it. Not that I was planning to sell. I liked it there. I'd put down roots. Andrew, during these same 3 years, had been living with his girlfriend in a rental across town. Nice place, way nicer than what I started with. But rent kept going up and he kept complaining about throwing money away. He was working sales at a car dealership, doing okay, I guess, but nothing spectacular. His girlfriend worked at a salon. Between them, they made decent money, but they also spent decent money. Nice clothes, new phones every year, weekend trips, eating out constantly. Zero financial discipline. Then his girlfriend got pregnant. Suddenly, Andrew decided he needed to be a homeowner. Not wanted to be, needed to be. Because apparently you can't raise a kid in an apartment. News to the millions of people who do it. But okay. He started house hunting. Quickly realized that everything in his price range was either in a terrible area or needed massive work. Everything move-in ready was way over what he could afford, especially with a baby coming. His girlfriend had strong opinions about what kind of house she wanted to bring their baby home to. It became this whole thing. I heard about all this through Mom, who called me every week with updates on Andrew's house hunt, like I was supposed to be as invested as she was. She'd go on about how stressful it was for him, how hard it was to find the right place, how expensive everything had gotten. I'd make sympathetic noises and go back to my life. Then one Sunday, I got a call from Dad. He wanted to know if I could come over for dinner that night. Family meeting, he called it. Said it was important. I should have known right then. My family doesn't do family meetings unless someone wants something. But I went anyway, mostly because I was curious about what fresh nonsense was brewing. I showed up at 6. Mom had made pot roast. The good dishes were out, the ones she only uses for holidays or when she's trying to impress someone. Andrew was already there with his girlfriend, whose name was Bethany. She was about 6 months along, really showing, wearing one of those flowy pregnancy dresses. Everyone was weirdly cheerful, too cheerful, the kind of cheerful that makes your warning bells go off.
I hope everyone
Mom hugged me when I walked in, which was unusual. Dad shook my hand firmly, which was also unusual. Andrew gave me this weird half smile that looked almost apologetic.
I'm trying to hype up
Something
this
was
Monday a
definitely
little
up.
more.
We sat down, ate dinner,
than
made
what it
small talk.
technically is.
The pot roast was actually good.
I guess this
Mom knows how to
kinda
cook when she puts in the
tells
effort. Andrew told me about the baby, how they were
That's how I
decorating the
feel about
nursery, the
It's a
name they'd picked out.
Monday.
Some normal
But I
name.
hope
Couldn't
everyone's
remember it
doing
5
well.
seconds after he
We're
said
gonna
it.
get started,
I nodded along, acted
into
interested.
gas station
Bethany
sim
showed
in
me
a minute.
ultrasound pictures on her
But
phone.
before we do
Those
that,
black and white
hello,
images
Panda.
that all
I
look
hope
like
you're doing
abstract
well.
art
Thank
to
you
me.
so much for starting
I
that
said the
Pangea
appropriate things.
Dungeon with
Wow,
us
that's
this
great.
evening.
Yeah, I can
Hello,
totally
matey.
see the
Thank
face.
you so much for seizing
Oh
the
yeah,
helm,
that's definitely
using
a
your
foot.
navigator nuggets.
The whole time I could feel the tension
Hello,
building.
Jeffrey as well.
Nobody was addressing whatever
I
this
hope
meeting
everyone
was
is
actually
having
about.
a fantastic
We were all just dancing
Monday.
around it, eating pot roast and
Also,
pretending this was a normal
we
family dinner.
do a
Then Mom brought out
fish
dessert, apple pie, my favorite,
for
which she literally never made. And that's when I knew something was up. Mom doesn't make my favorite anything unless she wants something. Last time she made apple pie was when she wanted me to help Andrew move.
To go over with
Time before
tonight.
that was when she
But what
wanted
I'm
me to
going to
lend
say,
Dad my
guys,
truck for 2
is,
weeks. The pie was a warning sign.
We are going to
Dad
kind of do
cleared his
stream
throat.
like we did
Put
yesterday.
down his fork carefully, like he'd
so what
rehearsed
that
this
means
moment.
It's we're
Here we
probably
go.
going to play
So,
gas
he
station
said,
sim for maybe
we wanted to talk to you about something important. Family matter.
And a
I put
half,
down my
an hour
fork.
and 45 minutes,
Okay.
something like that.
Andrew and Bethany are starting a family.
And then the
He
remaining
continued.
of stream
Like I hadn't
will be
just spent
some
dinner
Fortnite
hearing about
because
exactly
I'm definitely
that.
not addicted
They need
to
a stable
Fortnite.
home for the baby.
But the
a
reason
real
why I want
house,
to do
not an
Fortnite
apartment.
one is
Right, I said. That makes sense.
because I
market's
want to do
tough
the
right
present
now,
boxes
Mom chimed
too.
in.
I also kind of want to
Everything's
get in the
so
game for
expensive.
the day, see if I
They've
can
been
do any
looking for months and
dailies,
can't find
anything
anything
like
in their
that.
budget that's suitable for a
At
baby.
all.
I
The
looked at Andrew.
countdown is
He was
on.
staring at his
I'm
pie,
switching
not
scenes in
making
a
eye
minute.
contact.
I don't have like a just
That's rough,
yapping scene
I
like
said.
you maybe.
Maybe they need to
I don't
expand their
have that
search
here.
radius
I mean,
or
I
consider
do.
a fixer-upper.
I could put us
Well,
just
that's
in this
actually what
scene,
we wanted to
or
discuss.
I could put us in
Dad
this
said.
scene,
He
but
leaned
I don't have
forward,
the camera
hands
plugged in,
clasped
so
like he
it's
was about
at
to make
that
a business
point, why
proposal.
even put us on that
Your
scene?
house. It's perfect for that. 3 bedrooms, good
I mean,
neighborhood,
I could put
good
us in
schools.
the ending scene right
Everything
away.
a young family needs. I blinked.
But
Okay? You live there alone,
I'm not
Mom said.
professional like me.
3 bedrooms, just for
this
you.
Is not a
Meanwhile,
production.
Andrew needs space for a whole family. So he
Like
should find a
maybe.
house with
That's
3
all I'm
bedrooms,
saying.
I said slowly,
let me go to
like I did. The thing is, Dad said, you bought at the right time. You got lucky with the market. Andrew can't afford what you paid, let alone what it's worth now. That's not luck, I said. I saved for 6 years. I worked 2 jobs some months. I bought what I could afford and fixed it up myself.
I jumped in right away.
Right, Dad said, waving his hand
honestly,
like my
I don't
point
know
was
how much
irrelevant.
gas station
But
sim
the
I truly
reality
want
is,
to do tonight.
you
I
have
just kinda
something
wanna
Andrew
get in.
needs, and family helps family. The room went quiet. I looked around the table. Mom was nodding like Dad had just said something profound. Bethany was staring at her plate.
I just want to get in
Andrew was still avoiding eye contact. What exactly are you suggesting? I asked, even though I had a sinking feeling I knew.
That's where we left
Sign the
off.
house over to Andrew, Dad said. Simple as that. Like he was asking me to pass the salt.
Please.
You're single, no kids. You can live anywhere. Get an apartment, something practical. Andrew needs that house for his family. I actually laughed. Couldn't help it. You want me to give Andrew my house?
I know
Not
you are.
give, Mom corrected quickly. We'd help you with first and last month's rent somewhere. A nice apartment. I own a house.
My mind's
I
like
said.
all over the moment.
Why would I
I'm trying
trade
to,
that for an
what am I
apartment?
doing?
Because your brother needs it more,
I need fuel.
Dad said. His voice getting that edge it
So
gets
let me
when he
order
thinks he's
some
being
fuel.
reasonable and
But
you're being
how's everyone
difficult.
doing? I hope
He's got a
everyone's
baby
having
coming.
a fantastic
You're established
Monday.
in your career, no dependence. You can
Let me
afford to
order some
rent.
of those.
I can afford to rent because I don't, I said.
None of that's,
Because
like,
I own a
at the
house
moment.
that
Let me
I
order
bought
that,
with my money. It's just a house, Mom said. Family is more important than property. Then why doesn't family help Andrew buy his own house? I asked. You helped him with college, helped him with his car. Let him live here rent-free multiple times. Why not help him with a down payment? We would if we could, Dad said, which was garbage because I knew they had money. But we're not in a position to do that right now. This is the solution that makes sense. For who? I asked. Not for me. Think about the baby, Bethany said
Jeffrey's
suddenly.
sealing the house.
First words she'd
Guys, you
spoken
have
in
2
10
more
minutes.
days.
Don't you want your niece or nephew to have a good home? Sure, I said.
You have 2 more
I
days
also want to have a home, preferably the one I bought.
to seize the helms.
Andrew finally spoke up. Come on, man. You know how hard it is out there right now. I'm trying to do the right thing here.
Guess I'll get some
Provide for my
glasses and
family.
stuff.
I thought you'd understand. I understand you want my house, I said. What I don't understand is
now,
why you
don't
think you're
steal
entitled
the home
to it.
from me. I want to be
Entitled?
special.
Dad's voice went sharp. Is that what you think this is? Your
I
brother
don't think
asking
that's
for help
gonna
is
work,
entitled?
Jeffrey.
Asking would be one thing, I said. This is demanding. There's a difference.
2,
We're not
1,
demanding anything, Mom
1.
said. But her voice had that tight quality that meant she was getting upset. We're asking you to consider what's best for the family. To put your brother's needs first, like I've done my whole life. The words came out before I could stop them.
I can try.
The table went dead silent. What's that supposed to mean? Dad asked. Nothing, I said, because I wasn't about to get into 3 decades of family dynamics over
Uncle.
pot roast.
I appreciate you.
Look, I'm not signing over my house. Andrew needs to find his own place. That's
I
what
should
people
probably
do.
put a cooldown
People
on
who
it.
care about their
Just
family
redeem
help each other,
seize the helm.
Mom said. Help, sure, I said. I'd help Andrew pack. I'd help him move. I'd even help him paint his new place. But I'm not giving him my house. You're being selfish, Dad said flatly. I'm being selfish, I repeated. Right.
Maybe
because
that's
I won't
what
hand
we'll
over
do.
the thing I
I'll
worked
have
for
to do that
years
in the
to
new
afford.
year.
That's selfish.
That we'll have
You've
a
always
little,
been
like,
like this,
a
Mom
cooldown
said,
between
and there
each
was real
person.
disappointment in her voice. Ever since you were little, only thinking about yourself.
Because I feel like
that
that is
actually
something
stung,
that we do need.
which was
Ooh, it is
ridiculous because it wasn't
storming
true.
out here.
But it's amazing how your parents
ow.
can still get under your
That's
skin,
why people are
even when you're
honking
30
too,
years
'cause
old
there's
and
a
should
line
know
for
better.
gas.
I think I should go, I
And the
said,
delivery's
standing up.
coming in as
Sit down,
well.
Dad said. We're not done discussing this. Yeah, we are, I said. There's nothing to
while we're
discuss.
here,
It's my house.
let
I'm
me
keeping it.
also
End of
go
story.
here.
Just think about it, Andrew said. That's all we're asking. Think
We have
about it.
enough of
I
these.
looked at him.
Oil,
Really looked at him.
batteries.
He actually believed this was reasonable. That asking me to give up my house so he didn't have to struggle like I did was a normal request. Let me think about it, I said, and I walked out. The whole drive home,
I'm
I was
sweet
shaking.
as honey, but I
Not from
sting
anger
like a
exactly.
bitch.
More from the sheer audacity of what had just
I
happened.
can testify to
They'd
that.
actually sat me down, fed me dinner, and asked me to sign over my house like it was no big deal. Like I should be happy to do it. I got home, sat
You
in my
only have
driveway for
today and
20
tomorrow
minutes
for
just
seize the
staring at
helm,
my
guys.
house. My house.
After
that
that,
I'd bought when everyone said I couldn't afford it.
no more
that I'd
seize the
fixed
helm
up myself.
unless I do
that I'd turned
a
into something I
surprise
was
stream
proud
on,
of. And they wanted me to give it to Andrew
almost
because he
Sunday.
needed it more.
On Wednesday,
I went inside, locked the
for
door
you guys
behind
to
me, and
seize the
stood in my
helm
living room.
before
The floors I'd
2026.
refinished, the walls I'd painted, the shelving I'd built. Every
That
inch of
will
this
do
place had my work in it. My time,
I'm
my
very
money, my effort. They could think all
You're
they
sweet,
wanted.
more like
The answer was
sour.
no. The next day, I called a locksmith. Had all the locks changed. Front door, back door,
Wow,
side
you
door,
did not
even the
just
garage.
say maybe
Cost me $300,
might
but
be
it was worth
sour.
it. I know how my family works. Give them an inch, they'll take the whole
Ooh,
property
Jeffrey,
deed. The locksmith was this older guy named Frank.
you're-
Didn't
Jeffrey's
ask
throwing
questions, just did the work.
hands.
Took him about 3 hours to swap everything out.
I
kept
sweet
all
as
the old locks in a
honey you
box
put
in my
your
garage,
tea.
just in
Maybe,
case I
thank
ever
you so
needed
much
to
for the
prove
30
they'd been
bits.
changed.
I appreciate
While Frank was
you.
working, I drove to the hardware store and bought a proper no trespassing sign. Not one of those polite private property ones. A big official-looking no trespassing. Violators will be prosecuted sign.
I did turn
the kind
off
that
the
makes it
alert
clear you mean business.
for,
Picked up a metal post for
like
it too.
any of the special
Something that couldn't be
redeems
easily removed.
within,
Mounted it right at the end of my driveway where nobody could miss it.
like using
Made
bits
sure
and
it was
stuff
visible
like that,
from the
so
road.
The gigantic
I even took a
emotes,
photo of it with my phone,
the on-screen
timestamped,
celebrations
just to have documentation
and
of when I
stuff like
put it
that.
up. Then I called my
did
bank and
that
put a freeze on my
because
accounts
I don't
just
know.
in
I
case.
just felt like it was
Needed
too
my verbal
much at
authorization
times,
for any large
because
transactions.
there are times where you guys
Called my
do
mortgage company and put a
spam
password on my account.
the
They were surprisingly understanding. Apparently,
things like
I wasn't
that,
the first
and I was
person
like,
to call with family drama
maybe
concerns.
we
Set up a
should,
passphrase that nobody could guess. Something completely random that had nothing to do with my life. Called the county
Put them
recorder's
away.
office and asked
Oh,
about
you know,
fraud
we don't
alerts
want
for
any of
property
that.
transfers. Talked to a clerk named Patricia, who'd apparently dealt with this
10,
kind of
15.
situation before. She walked me through the process of putting an alert on my property deed. Basically, if anyone tried to file any documents related to my property,
I don't
I'd
drink
get
tea.
notified
I'm a
immediately.
coffee kind of guy.
Cost $15, best money I ever
don't
spent.
drink coffee at
I
all.
also went through my house and made sure I had documentation
I've never
of
liked
everything.
coffee.
Found my closing documents, my
Never
deed,
tried it,
my
so-
title insurance, my mortgage
I mean, I
paperwork.
tried it, but
Put
I
it
just
all in a
don't drink
fireproof
coffee.
safe I bought from the same hardware store as the sign. Scanned
kinda
copies
guy.
of everything and uploaded them to 3 different
Except
cloud
I
storage
put
services.
milk in mine.
If something happened to the physical documents, I'd have backups. Changed my email password,
Okay.
my bank password, every password I had that might be vulnerable. Made them all different. Wrote them down in a notebook I kept in that same safe. Checked my credit report to make sure nothing weird was happening there. Basically locked down everything I could think of because I know my parents. If they think something's for Andrew's own good, they'll do whatever it takes. And I wasn't about to make it easy for them. I didn't hear from anyone for 2 days. Figured they were giving me space to think about it, like Andrew had suggested. Then, on Wednesday, Dad showed up at my door. I saw his car pull up through the window, watched him walk up to the door, try his old key, look confused when it didn't work, and knock. I opened the door but didn't invite him in. New locks? He asked.
Okay,
Yep.
we gotta like
Why?
restock.
My house, my locks, I said. He stared at me. You're serious about this? Dead serious. You really think I'd try to get in
Who's
without your
ding-donging
permission?
me?
I think you do
Oh,
whatever you
Jeffrey.
thought was necessary to help Andrew, I said. So yeah, I changed the
I
locks.
like my coffee
His jaw tightened.
black.
That's what
And
you think of your own father?
you
That's
call
what I know
me
about my
sour.
father, I said.
I
Based
never
on 30
said
years of
I
evidence.
wasn't sour.
We raised you better than this, he said. You raised me to work for what I want, I said. So that's what I did. I worked for this house.
Okay.
It's mine, and I'm keeping it. Andrew needs this house, Dad said. And I could hear the frustration building.
Fish.
He's got a baby coming.
Speaking of that,
he
guys,
needs stability.
it is
Then he should
the
have
last
thought about
2
that
days
before
for
getting someone
fishing
pregnant
as well.
while living in a
So
rental he can
if you
barely
wanna
afford.
be the top
I
fisher
said.
for the month,
That's not my problem. He's
just
your
an
brother,
FYI,
and this is my house. You could help him. You're choosing not to.
you only have
I'm choosing not to give him my house. I
between
corrected.
today and tomorrow
Those aren't
to
the
get
same
that
thing.
spot.
Dad was quiet for a second. Then he said, "What would it take for you to reconsider?" "Nothing," I said. "There's nothing you could offer me that would make me give Andrew my house.
Fine.
So that's it. You're just going to let your brother struggle. Andrew's struggling because of choices he made," I said. "I'm not responsible for fixing that. Family is supposed to help each other," Dad said for about the 10th time since this whole thing started. "Help, sure," I said.
I don't
But there's
know
a
if I
limit,
need to get,
and
like,
that
how
limit
do
is
I
my
get
house.
The,
Dad looked at the no
DLC.
trespassing sign at the end of my driveway.
I'm
Looked
stuck.
back at me.
Oh, you're stuck
You really
over that
think
pile.
that's necessary?
I was like,
he
why is there
asked.
no customers
Based on this
coming in?
conversation? Yeah.
There's
he shook his
a
head.
pile from
You've
the
changed.
storm.
You're not the son I raised. The son you raised would have rolled over and done whatever you wanted, I said. So yeah, I guess I have changed. He left without another word. I watched him drive away, then closed and locked my door. The next assault came from Mom. She called me on Friday, crying. Actual tears. Or at least the sound of them. She was worried about the baby, she said. Worried about Andrew and Bethany.
I was wondering
Worried
why
about
there's
their
like
future.
a backup
So help
of
them, I
customers
said.
right now.
You and Dad have money. Give them a down payment. It's not that simple, she said. It's exactly that simple, I said. You want to help Andrew get a house? Help him get a house. Don't volunteer my house. But your house is perfect for them.
So between
she
today
said.
and tomorrow
It's exactly
is the
what
last
they need.
day
Then they should
to
find
be
one
on
like
the
it,
VIP
I said.
leaderboards
You're
for the
being so
month.
cold about this, she
Unless
said.
I do
I'm being
a stream
realistic, I said. I'm 30 years
spontaneously
old. I own a
on,
house. I'm not giving it up because Andrew
Wednesday.
didn't plan ahead. He's trying to plan now, she said. He's
But
trying
for
to do the
anyone who
right
does
thing.
not know,
Good for him, I
every
said.
single month
He can
I
do
do
that
something
without my
called
house.
the leaderboard logbook.
She tried for another
which
20
basically,
minutes. Guilt, manipulation, tears, the whole playbook. I stayed calm, stayed firm, and eventually
kinda
she
show
gave up
my
and hung up on me.
appreciation,
Andrew texted me
for
that
anyone
night.
who
Long
throws bits to
message
the
about how he'd
stream,
always looked up to
gifted
me.
subs,
How he knew we
top
hadn't
fisher,
always gotten
top
along, but he
clipper,
thought we were past
the person
that.
who
How he just
sees
wanted
the
what was
helm
best
as
for his
well.
kid.
So I
Said he'd
do
pay
the
rent
top
if that's
10
what I
spots
wanted.
for both sides.
Turn it into a rental
So
situation
if you're
until he
in the
could buy
top
it from
10,
me. I didn't respond. There was nothing to
you
say.
get your name on the
He wasn't
leaderboard
going to live in
logbook
my
for that
house,
month, as
rent
well
or no rent.
as
He wasn't going to buy
you
it
get
from
a
me.
shiny
He wasn't going to
diamond
get
badge
anywhere
next to
near
your
it.
name,
The weekend was quiet.
for
Then
the
Monday,
entire month.
I got a call from a
So,
number
for
I didn't
example,
recognize.
January,
Some woman
I mean,
claiming to be a real
if
estate
you're in
attorney,
the
saying she was
month
helping
of-
my family with a
for
property
December,
transfer
you'll get
and
the
needed to verify
badge
some
the whole month of
information.
January,
I told her I
and
wasn't
then
transferring
January will
any
be
property
February,
and hung up.
March, so
Then
on,
I
so
called
on,
the
you
county
know,
recorder's
kinda-
office back
you see how this
and made
rolls, you know?
absolutely sure that
Don't
nobody could
threaten me
touch
with a
my
good
deed
time.
without my physical signature and two
I'm
forms of
not
ID.
threatening
The
anyone
clerk
with a
was
good
super
time.
helpful. Probably
Also,
because I wasn't the
Maid
first
B
person
is
paranoid
still
about
holding
family
on
trying
to
to
that
steal their
top
property.
fisher, I believe.
Tuesday, Bethany showed up by herself this
Panda
time.
really
She looked
wants it.
tired, scared actually.
Panda's
Stood on my
like,
porch and
that
asked if
top
we could
fisher
talk.
spot is
Against my
mine.
better judgment, I let her in. Didn't offer her anything. Just let her sit on my couch while I stood by the door. I know this is weird, she started. This whole situation. Weird's one word for it, I said. Andrew's parents. They make things complicated. They're good at that. She was quiet for a second. Then she said, I didn't know he was going to ask you for your house. He told me we were just going to dinner. When your dad started talking, I wanted to disappear. You could have said something, I said. I'm 6 months pregnant with their grandkid.
He can
she
threaten
said.
me with a
I'm
good
not
time.
exactly in a position to push back on family
I
dynamics.
don't know what I want to do
Fair
tomorrow
point.
for tomorrow's
Look,
stream, guys.
she
I
said.
haven't
I
decided
get it.
yet.
I get why you said
I'm still
no.
debating.
If someone
there's
asked me to
anything
give
that
up
you
my
guys
home, I'd say
personally
no
wanna
too.
see,
But Andrew's
please
freaking
let me
out.
know.
He thinks he's
I'm
going to be a bad dad if
more
he can't provide a house.
Then open
Plenty of good dads live in apartments.
to
I said.
suggestions.
I know that. You know that. But his
And
parents
then
have
I
him
don't know what
convinced
I
he's
want to
failing
do
already.
for
That's
Friday
between
stream
him and them,
either.
I said. I know, she
so
said.
we'll see.
She looked around my living room.
Is free.
This is a really nice place. You
but
did all this
not
yourself?
cheap.
Most of it. That's impressive. She stood up. I just wanted to say I'm sorry for the ambush at dinner, for all of this.
Noise.
It's not right. Thanks, I said.
I
We'll
gotta
figure
go
something
fill
out,
up.
she said. Without your house. She left.
Okay.
I actually felt a little
There's
bad for
another-
her. She seemed
Captain,
decent.
Kamek,
Just caught in the
why are
middle
we
of family
yelling?
drama that existed long before she showed up.
It is Monday.
That was Tuesday.
Why
Wednesday
are we
morning,
yelling?
I woke up to find Dad's car parked at the end of my driveway. He wasn't in it. I looked around, didn't see him, and then noticed he was standing in my backyard. Just standing there, looking at my house. I went out the back door. What are you doing? He turned around. Figured out what you
is
paid for
there-
this place. Looked up the records.
Oh, no, they're just
Congratulations.
I'm
Also
looking
looked up
while
what it's worth
working.
now.
You
You've done
are
well
in
for yourself.
PA and I'm
Thanks.
in New York.
Andrew
How
could
am I-
never
How
afford
you're going
this.
to hear me?
Not at current
if
value.
I don't
I know.
yell.
You know that, and you still won't help him. I won't give him my
mean-
house, I said. That's not the same as not helping. What help have you offered then? Dad asked. None, I admitted. Because he hasn't asked for help. He's asked for my house.
You have
Those
a
are different
point.
things. Dad walked closer. Looked at
You
my
tell
roof,
him.
my siding, my yard. You
I
put a
can
lot
hear
of work
you
into this place.
Loud and
I did.
Clear.
Shame to see all that go to waste. Something in his tone made my radar go up. What's that
Ooh.
supposed to mean? Just
we gotta
saying,
cool the engine
houses
down.
need maintenance.
Cool her
Things can
down.
happen. Pipes burst, roofs leak, electrical fires. I stared
Okay,
at him.
good.
Are
Had
you
to check.
threatening my house? I'm
How
not
is
threatening
what?
anything, he said. I'm just saying things happen, especially when people are stubborn. Get out, I said. This is still my property until you...
I want to buy
This
that
is my
lottery
property.
machine too.
I cut him off. And you're trespassing. Leave. Now. We stood there for a
Also,
long
I think
minute.
we're getting rid of the
Then he
Christmas
shook his head and
decorations.
walked back to his
Did
car.
he tell you
I
he's
watched
gonna
him
play
drive
Fortnite
away, then
without you?
immediately called my insurance company and doubled my homeowner's
All the-
coverage.
Ooh,
Called
I
a
almost
security
fell in the
company
pit.
and got cameras installed. Front door, back door, driveway, all of it. Cost me $800 for a good system, but I didn't care. That night, I went through my house and photographed everything. Every room, every piece of furniture, every detail. Uploaded it
I
all to the
told
cloud. If something
Kamang not
happened
a
to
lot.
my house,
Ooh,
I wanted
ooh,
documentation. I also
It is
called my
good to
buddy
hear.
Kevin, who's a cop, and
It
explained
is
the
good.
situation.
It is
He said if
for
anything happened,
charity,
call him
setting up
immediately.
Tiltify
Also
and
suggested
crowd
I keep
control,
records of all
the voice
communications
mod,
with my
and
family.
all the things.
So I
Yes,
started a file.
Actually, that is
Thursday
something
was
that
quiet.
I need to do.
Friday
I've been
too.
have
I
a whole
started to
to-do
think
list of
maybe they'd
things that I
finally
wanna
gotten the
do,
message.
and I want to set
Then
up a
Saturday
voice
morning,
changer.
I got a call from Andrew.
Haven't
Not a
gotten around
text,
to it.
a call.
I'll get around
First
to it
time
at
he'd
some
actually
point, you
tried
know?
to talk to me
I'm
since the dinner.
super duper busy.
I let it go to voicemail. Listened to it later. He sounded wrecked. Said he understood I was mad.
Maybe
Said
I'll
he
get
got it.
around with
Said
it
he was sorry
the
for how
next
everything
couple
went down.
days.
Said
'Cause
his
I've been
girlfriend
keep on
was
saying,
crying.
"Oh, I wanna do
His
a voice
parents were on his
changer."
case, and he didn't know what to do. Said maybe we could work something out. Could I just call him back? Please? I deleted it. Felt a little bad about it, but not bad enough to call him back. Sunday, Mom called. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail too, but I didn't listen to it. Whatever she had to say, I didn't need to hear. Monday, I got a certified letter
if
from
he
a law
wants to
firm.
play Fortnite
My stomach
without
dropped when
me.
I saw it.
That's fine.
Opened it up. It was a
still
letter
have
requesting mediation regarding a family
over
property
an hour
dispute.
and a half until I
Basically,
even
they'd
touched
hired a
Fortnite.
lawyer to try to force
Well, an
me into
hour.
family mediation about the house.
Yeah,
The
over
letter
an
was
hour and a
full
half
of legal
until I touched
language,
Fortnite.
but the gist was clear. They wanted a mediator to
So-
decide what was fair for everyone. I called my
Got
own
some
lawyer,
time?
guy I'd used when I bought the house, explained the situation. He laughed, which made me feel
I need
better.
to go get gas.
They can request mediation all they want, he said. You don't have to agree to it. It's your house, your
Wait.
property, your decision. Unless they're claiming some legal interest
Okay.
in it, which they're not, they can't do anything. So I just ignore this? I asked. Yep. Or better yet, have me send them a letter telling them to back off. Might cost you a couple $100, but it'll make it clear you're serious. Do it, I said. He sent the letter that afternoon. Firm, but polite. Essentially said I had no interest in mediation, the property was solely mine, and any further harassment would be considered grounds for a restraining order.
Wait,
I
I'm
didn't
just
hear anything
confused.
for
Wait,
3
maybe.
days.
Were you kidding
Then
again?
Thursday night, my
Hee.
doorbell rang at 11 p.m. I checked the camera.
I'm confused.
Andrew, standing on my porch, looking rough. I didn't open the door,
Should I
just
break
spoke through the camera's intercom.
and get
What do you
food?
want? Just to talk, he said. Please.
You should get food.
It's 11 p.m. I know, I'm sorry, Can I come
gotta
in?
personally
No.
fill up
He looked at the camera.
my
I'm not here to fight.
little
I just want
gas
to talk.
tank.
Brother to brother. I stood there for a
It's
minute,
on.
looking at him through the screen on my phone. He did look terrible, like he hadn't slept in days. You've got 5 minutes, I said, and opened the door. He came in, sat on the edge of my couch like he was afraid to get comfortable. I stayed standing. Bethany's freaking out, he said.
Maybe
She
you
thinks
said
the
you were
baby's
gonna
going
play
to
some
come,
Fortnite without
and we
me.
won't have
Rude.
anywhere to
But
put
really,
her.
it's fine.
You have an apartment,
I don't need
I
to
said.
play. I
It's
can
one
solo.
bedroom. We're converting the
I'm
living
not
room, but
playing
it's not.
Fortnite yet.
It's not
I'm-
what she pictured.
I still have
Life
another
rarely is, I said. I know I
hour
messed up.
and a
he said.
half
I
until
know
I
I
even
should have
touch
saved
Fortnite.
more,
Maybe a little
planned
less,
better.
like maybe an
But
hour
I can't go back and
15
fix that
minutes.
now.
I don't know.
I'm trying to figure out what to do
all
going
I'm
forward.
doing is I'm kind of
Good,
doing
I said.
Fortnite like I did
That's
last
what adults
night.
do.
That's all
I
I'm
thought
doing.
you'd help me, he said
I'm gonna play
quietly.
some Fortnite.
I would have helped you,
before
I said, if you'd asked for actual
bed.
help. But
Open
you
up my
didn't ask
present
for help.
box,
You
and
asked
do
for
all
my
the
house.
things.
Mom and Dad said,
See,
I don't care what they said. I cut him off.
harassing
This is
Captain.
between you and me. And you showed up to that
Don't
dinner
know
knowing what they were
who
going
was
to
more
ask.
confused,
You
Captain
sat
or
there
me?
and let them ask me to give up my house. You didn't speak up.
I am confused.
You didn't defend me.
I'm
You didn't say it
confused
was
all
too
the
much.
time.
You just sat there hoping I'd say yes. He didn't deny it. I worked for this house, I said. I worked 2 jobs. I lived in terrible apartments.
I'm
I drove a
stuck.
car that barely ran. I saved every dollar.
Good.
And you know what I
support
didn't
this.
do? I didn't ask anyone to give
My
me
confusion?
anything. I did it
I
myself, because that's what you do. Not everyone's like you, he said. No, not everyone wants to work for things, I agreed. Some people want things handed to them. That's not fair. Fair? I actually laughed. You want to talk about fair? Okay. Was it fair that Mom and Dad paid for your college while I worked full-time
Gotta
for
order
mine?
some more
Was it fair that you got a
armadillos.
new car while I drove a rusted-out sedan? Was it fair that you lived at home rent-free 4
we
separate
have
times while
customers
I
out
paid my
here.
own way from 18 on? Was any of that fair? He didn't answer. I never complained about it, I continued. I never asked them to even things out. I just accepted that's how it was and worked harder. But now you want my house, and suddenly fairness matters? I didn't know you felt that way,
Thank
he
you.
said. Because you never asked, I said.
I think
You
we're
never
gonna
had to
take
think
the
about it
Christmas
because
decorations
everything
away.
always worked out for you. Mom and
Let me
Dad
look at
always
the
made sure
garage
of it.
to see how we're
But this
doing on
time, they
tires.
can't give you what you want.
We're good.
Because it's not theirs to give. It's mine. He was quiet for a long time.
Alright,
Then he
we're-
said, what if
we're
I
good
earned
for
it?
a minute.
What if I paid you for it? Fair market value, over time. No, you didn't even think about it. Don't
Oh,
need
low
to, I
pressure.
said. This isn't about money. This house isn't for sale. Not to you, not to anyone. So what am I supposed to do? He asked, and he actually sounded lost. What everyone else does, I said. Find a place you can afford. Sign a lease or get a mortgage. Make it work. Be a dad in whatever space you have. Stop waiting for someone to hand you the perfect situation. Bethany will be fine, I said. Women have babies in way worse situations than a one-bedroom apartment. You guys will figure it out. But you'll figure it out without my house. He stood up. You're really not going to budge on this. Nope. Mom and Dad are right about you, he said. You are selfish. If looking out for myself is selfish, then yeah, I'm selfish, I said. Better than being entitled. He left. Didn't slam the door or anything dramatic. Just left. I locked the door behind him, checked all the cameras, and went to bed. The next morning, I woke up to 12 missed calls from Mom. 12. I didn't call back. Figured if it was an actual emergency, she'd leave a voicemail. She did. 3 of them. All variations of the same message. How could I be so cruel to my brother? Didn't I care about family? What was wrong with me? Deleted them all. That afternoon, Dad showed up again. I watched him through the camera, standing on my porch, ringing the doorbell. I didn't answer. He rang it 6 more times, then started knocking.
Honestly,
I sat on my couch, watching him on my phone screen, and didn't move. He finally left after 10 minutes.
That's what I would like to do.
Sent me a text an hour later. This isn't over. I blocked his number. Blocked Mom's too, and Andrew's. If they wanted to reach me, they could send a letter. But I was done with the phone calls and the guilt trips and the manipulation. The next few weeks were quiet. Nobody showed up. Nobody sent letters.
No, it's decorations.
I figured they'd finally accepted reality and moved on.
Nope.
Then I got a notification from the county recorder's office. Someone had requested copies of my property deed. The alert system I'd set up was working. I called Patricia back, asked who'd made the request. My father. I called my lawyer immediately. He sent another letter, this one way less polite. Threatened harassment charges if they didn't back off. Also mentioned that any attempt to fraudulently transfer property would result in criminal charges. That seemed to do it. The request stopped.
Unfortunately.
2 days before Andrew's move, I came home from work to find my mother sitting in her car at the end of my driveway. Not trying to get in, just sitting there, watching my house. I pulled in, parked in my garage, and went inside without acknowledging her. She sat there for 2 hours. I watched her on my driveway camera, just sitting in her car, staring at my house like that was going to change something.
I want to know
Eventually, she left.
The
day Andrew moved into his new place, I got a group text. Not from Andrew, from Mom. Photos of their new condo, the baby's room half set up, boxes everywhere. The message said, Andrew's new home. So proud of him for doing this on his own. The capitalization was pointed. I didn't respond. Just muted the group chat. When the baby was born 3 months later, I got another group text with a photo. I looked at it for about 5 seconds. Baby looked like every other newborn, red and wrinkly. Then texted back, congratulations, and left the chat entirely. Mom sent me a message a week after the birth. Said I should come meet my niece. Said family was important, especially now. Said maybe it was time to move past all this. Said they were having a little get-together that Sunday. For close family, 2 p.m., I should come. I didn't respond. Sunday at 2 p.m., I was at Home Depot buying supplies for my bathroom renovation. Saw the missed calls later. Didn't listen to the voicemails. A month after that, I ran into Andrew at the grocery store. Literally almost walked right into him in the produce section. He had the baby in one of those carrier things, strapped to his chest. She was tiny, asleep, wearing a pink hat. We stared at each other for a second. Hey, he said. Hey. Awkward silence. He shifted his weight, the baby making little sleeping noises.
What quest do I need to unlock to get the job?
Because it seemed like the thing to say. Thanks. He adjusted the carrier. Look, I know things are weird, but I gotta go, I said. Didn't let him finish. Grabbed the apples I needed and walked to a different section of the store. Heard him call my name once. Kept walking. Finished my shopping, went home, didn't think about it again. 2 weeks later, Bethany showed up at my door.
You need to complete
Alone
the quest.
this time, no baby.
Wash your first
I saw her on the
car
camera,
wash.
recognized her,
Ensure
and
you have
almost
the
didn't
DLC.
answer. But something made me open the door. Didn't invite her in though. Just stood in the doorway. What do you want?
Car wash is unlocked.
5 minutes, she said.
Must have
That's it. I looked at my watch. Timer starts now. Andrew's miserable, she said. He knows he messed up. He knows his parents messed up. He wants to apologize, but he doesn't know how. Not my problem. I get it, she said.
Yeah, but
I get why you're done with them, with all of this. But the baby, your niece, she didn't do anything wrong. Never said she did. She's going to grow up not knowing her uncle. That's sad. Lots of kids grow up not knowing relatives, I said. She'll survive.
I'm trying to
Bethany looked at me for a long moment. You're really not going to budge on this, are you?
Screamed
nope.
in my
not
ears.
even for a baby? Especially not for a baby, I said. Because if I give in now, it sets a precedent. Next time they need something, they'll use her as leverage again. No thanks. That's pretty cold. That's pretty smart, I corrected. I learned a long time ago that my family will take whatever I give them and ask for more. So I'm not giving them anything.
Like, thumbs it up.
She nodded
Wow,
slowly.
Like, great
okay,
job.
I tried. You did. She turned to leave, then stopped.
Okay, I'm very
For what it's worth,
confuzzled
I think you're right
of how
about all of
I
it.
can get
What they asked you to do was insane. I would have said no too. Thanks, I
cinema.
said. But Andrew's a good dad, and that condo is
giggling.
fine. The baby's happy. We're making it work. Good,
Captain,
I said,
I'm not
and I meant
ready.
it. I'm glad it worked
freaking
out. She left.
Okay,
I
it is
closed the
fine.
door, locked
Everything's
it, and went back
fine.
to my life. If you enjoyed this
it's
video,
any-
please hit that subscribe button. It
I
really
heard
helps
it
the channel
twice.
and help us bring you more and better
How did you
stories.
hear it?
Thanks.
Did